Six Gun Productions. New media, new rules.
This is Geek News Radio. Broadcast 40 for Saturday, June 10th, 2017. Grimdark.
You're listening to Geek News Radio, episode 40K. I'm Fab from Isenhagen.
And I'm David Birmingham.
Episode 40, man. This is wild.
It's so good. It's hashtag need 40K. It's life is nice.
Yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about that, but mostly I'm gonna be reviewing the Signal from Tölva.
Yeah, I have literally no idea what this game is.
Which I wanted to do like for the last, I think, 3 episodes, ever since it came out, basically.
Yeah.
But we always had other like stuff scheduled, so I'm going to do it now because next episode is going to be all about the new 40K.
The new 40K.
Yeah, so I don't know what you're drinking. I'm drinking Bundaberg UP rum. Bundy rum.
What does the UP stand for? What does UP mean?
I think it's underproof.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's the only one I could get. Like, it was hard enough to get that over here. I bought that in the whiskey embassy thing we went to when I bought all the whiskey, which is almost everything. It's all gone. It was a long winter. It was a long winter, mate.
Oh man, that's
good stuff.
Whiskey doesn't hang around here either.
As it should
I
be.
have a Negroni. I'm ridiculously on brand.
Awesome.
It's red, much like the Labour Party.
Yeah, we have to explain. Today's like a voting day in the UK.
Yeah, today is the day of the general election, and oh my god,
you've voted.
I'm so sad. Yeah, I was the first person to vote in our polling station.
You did your democratic duty, like an ultramarine. You were first.
Yeah, I stood in line, and I was the line. All one of me.
Apple Store.
And I did the vote. I voted for the Labour Party.
You voted for Old Man Corbyn.
I did. I was up screaming into the Twitter void last night about who to vote for. Cause,
I thought you were going to vote Lib Dem.
Well, up until like about 2 a.m, I was going to.
And then you finally saw sense.
Well, no, because I was just like... our bet is going to be Labour unless there's a massive clusterfuck and everyone's suddenly racist. So I'm tactically voting for the side that will most probably win out of Labour. And
with your whole election system, I always thought like voting Lib Dem in like an election like this, like a big election, basically makes no sense. Like in Germany, we have coalitions a lot, right?
Yeah.
But you don't really.
Well, there are some seats where it's reasonable that Lib Dems could win.
But like on the whole. But they're probably most likely to take votes from Labour, I guess, and then the Tories win.
So I think there's at least one place that I know of that's potentially could steal it from the Tories. But I mean, let's face it, the Tories are going to get like an 80-seat majority. They're going to win, aren't they? Oh, it's going to be the best 5 years. I can't wait for May's nuclear fire to cleanse us all.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was basically just saying I've got great precedent for voting for the losing team.
I've done that a few times in my life as well.
I don't honestly think there's been an election where I voted for someone who won.
I did. I voted for Schröder and he won. So back then, I still think that's a good idea. But lots of people don't agree with me. I think I'm gonna protest vote this year.
Oh my god! But don't do protest votes. That's how you get UKIP and Trump.
No, well, our system works a bit different than yours.
That's true. Yes.
The thing you just don't do is like you don't invalidate your ballot, which like I always had huge discussions with friends about this who like to do that. But the problem is I studied like politics, and I don't know how it's in your system, but in Germany, basically that the way they count votes, that basically gets counted as not having voted, and also the parties don't. Right, when they do analysis, they always do analysis like where the votes went to what other party. They don't give a shit if you don't vote or you like protest vote. So I'm just gonna vote for a party, but I think I'm gonna vote for the Die Partei. You know, in Germany there's this party called the Party.
Okay.
Which they
sound very ominous.
Do you know who Martin Sonneborn is?
I don't.
So he was the former editor-in-chief of a satire magazine called Titanic, which I'm a big fan of, which is like they always make Hitler jokes all the time. They're very, very dry, very like balls to the wall humor. And he went and stood for the European Parliament. And then I think we talked about this at some point on some podcast, or maybe off the air or something. You know, I told you how he went, like, then he won the seat for the European Parliament. And then what he wanted to do is, because you get like a driver and like you get ridiculously amount of money like to stay there and shit and eat. So he just wanted to have that for a month and then give it on to the next guy in the party so that everybody in the party basically could enjoy this.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, but then the European Parliament actually banned him from doing this. They actually changed the rules, so you can't do this. And now he sits there. He sits in the European Parliament, like trolls people, and he just like writes for Titanic. He writes like his report from Brussels, and this amazing guy. And he founded like he went from Titanic and founded the party. Which is just they just troll people. Like what they do is like when they get votes and stuff, and so they get like election money, like campaigning money, and then they do stuff like in Germany the Nazi kind of parties, they always like put their election posters way up high on the lampposts,
right?
So that like the left can't like knock them down.
Right.
And then they use their election posters and always put them under the ones from like AfD, which is like our the anti-European European party. God, I can't remember what the shitty
UKIP?
Party or UKIP. They're like our UKIP, and they put them under them and then just have an arrow up the top saying well, it's like they did like a Wortspiel. Hier könnte ein Nazi hängen. Like a Nazi could be hanging here. But as like hanging as in like strung up kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. So I just basically need a party I can vote for, because I can't vote for like our Labour Party because they're completely like they're in a great coalition with the Tories, our Tories basically, and everything's fucked. So I think I'm gonna vote for them. That will be fun. But you did your duty, and while we're on the topic of end times. And the apocalypse and shit coming. I think it's now it's time to announce that I'm looking for a new co-host for the show, isn't it?
I found out. Was it 2 days ago? I'm getting kicked off the show.
Well, you went Ultramarines. Like what the fuck? Between
I don't know.
like.
I basically.
You didn't even broach the subject to me. I find out like via your tweets that you're now like Smurf Dave.
My pure boys, they're so pure and wholesome. I don't know. I just kind of decided that I wanted to. Well, so new 40k is happening. We'll chat more about that next time. But I thought I'd start a new army, and obviously that means a new Space Marine army because I like painting Space Marines. And I figured I'd never done Ultramarines. I really enjoy painting blue. I have some stuff for the game Infinity. I painted them blue. And it was really fun. So I'm going to do the same thing.
I like blue. Don't get me wrong, but there must be like chapters that are blue that aren't Ultramarines.
I mean, you could do Crimson Fist.
Yeah, Crimson Fist, they're cool. I like them.
But I mean, I like the Ultramarines. I like reading about their fake. I like the fake Romanness. I like Rabute. I might own the 40k Rabute now.
What?
I went out.
Heresy.
The Triumvirate of the Primarchs. That's got Cypher, Voldus and Rabute in it.
Cypher is in the Primark. What's going on now? What?
It's in the because he has the whole hanging around with the
He's
sword.
a fucking traitor. You're trying to tempt me. You're trying to get me right up. First is Ultramarines. Now you're like on Cypher's side. What is it with you?
So yeah, basically I picked up the Dark Imperium book that's like been released with the whole new 40k stuff. I've read like a quarter of it and went, yeah, I quite like Guilliman. I quite like the Ultramarines. They're nice. They're good. So I settled on that will be my army that I'm actually going to play with.
So I think it's just you don't have taste. I think that's basically
and I've currently got like a 3/4 painted Rhino in Ultramarine livery.
Oh my god.
Because I fixed my airbrush. Because my airbrush, like, honestly, me and airbrushes is the worst. I got like a fairly cheap one, but I just keep managed to clog it up. So like I'll use it, I'll prime a load of models, base coat them, and then somehow fuck it up, and then the next time I want to use it, I have to spend 3 hours cleaning it. So I fixed it, and then I painted this bad boy. It's good. It's just good. They're nice. They're the good guys.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you like the Imperial Fists, the Dark Angels, Raven Guard, like any of the cool chapters that are not the Ultramarines or the Space Wolves, like Salamanders is okay. Like White Scars, just apply.
Yeah, can you just send like a 30-second like demo reel of what you can bring to the podcast?
No, of course I'm just joking. But it looks like we're both getting into 40k again. I pre-ordered the rules.
Same. I got the rule book and the what did I get? The Imperium 1.
Right, the index. I just got the rule book so far because I need to save money because I have a very expensive year coming up.
It's true.
And and we'll have a show after this after new 40k is out. Like the week after, we'll get Joe back on, and Mike's on board, and we're gonna just have a show and talk 40k.
Yeah. Actually, like one thing, buying the box of lads of Rabute and Co. I went to a brick and mortar games workshop. It was a really nice experience. I rocked up like fairly early in the day. That I was the only customer in. The person there, we had a nice chat. She reminded me to vote, and then we talked about politics.
She? What?
Yeah, Birmingham store is apparently run by a person.
That's not allowed. That's heresy. What?
It's just really good.
A woman?
If only
like with boobs?
Indeed. If only like it was as cheap as places like Element Games, I'd actually go there more.
I love my local games workshop here is shit. I don't know if it's maybe the German ones. I just hate the whole. Oh, what is your army? Go fuck off! I don't want to talk to you.
That's true. That's a good point. There was no like, oh, so what do you play? Kind of spiel that they always start off with. Like, so what do you play? What are you thinking of buying? It was just like, hey, can I help you? It's like, yeah, do you have this kit? She's like, yes, it's alright.
I want that. I went in Hamburg. I went to a games workshop. They didn't have I was looking for an English White Dwarf and they didn't have it. But there was a cool guy that was like a hipster guy, probably because it's Hamburg. Might have to go there more. We'll see. I'm in negotiations. This is why it's going to be an expensive year. I'm in negotiations to move to Hamburg. So, oh God, we didn't move for 3 years. That was good. Now it's moving again.
Yeah. Oh man, I have so many books now. I'm feeling your pain of 4 years ago.
Katie was we're throwing out a few books, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. I can't.
Literally just got the special edition art book of the Frigates of EVE Online, and I do not have a shelf big enough for this book.
Oh God.
There is not a shelf in the flat big enough, so currently it's just sat on the floor. I'm
just buying everything I can. I bought I picked a lot of the.
You bought up all of the e-store, didn't you?
I bought a lot of the expansion books for 40k because they're gonna once the new 40k is out, they're gonna apparently not sell them anymore.
Yeah.
So and I'm going like full like ebook now if I can, because then I don't have to carry shit around.
Yeah.
And like, oh god, this move. I mean, we're gonna have to move 2 flats again. At least we're like moving into gonna be in one place now. And we found a really nice place which has fiber to the building. It's like a new flat. We haven't signed the contract yet, so it's not finalized. But like, has fiber to the building, has cat cable in every room. Yeah, and I have like, there's gonna be like, we're gonna have a room that's gonna be like, I'm gonna have my own room. That's my office and like the 40K room, which is good. So I can podcast there. It's gonna be good.
Sweet.
It will be interesting though if we get that flat. It's literally 200 meters from runway 33 of what's that? EDDH? Is it EDDH or EDDL? Echo Delta Hotel, I think. Yeah, it's Echo Delta Hotel, Hamburg Airport. So I'm gonna be like live on the podcast. We're calling out the planes that you can then hear landing. I'll have to have like Flight Radar open on the side or something. And like, I'm feeling really happy to move there, but on the other hand, it's moving. It's like, oh, I'm going all ebooks from now on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm doomed. I'm doomed. I'm never moving from this flat, even though I really want to move somewhere bigger. It's like, nope. Last time I moved was just the worst.
So the Rhino, did you build? Was that the tank you got sent?
No, so the Rhino is one that I built and primed about a year ago and didn't know what to paint it because I wanted to paint it something interesting.
Did you prime it white or black?
Grey, because I'm hip.
Okay. Does that work with blue?
It works all right, actually. Yeah. What I did some kind of pre-shading, so like I primed it grey, and then the bits that are dark are base coated in black, and then the bits that are light are base coated in white. And then you do like thin layers, and it kind of gives you kind of a gradient really easily. I then kind of fucked it up with a wash, but it looks all right. It's okay. But the tank I got sent is from a listener, Urban Kostinen podcast voice. I'm going to say it's Urban on the Discord. He went to a gaming convention and there was a Paradox booth where they were giving out free little model kits. And it's a tiny little metal M4 Sherman tank. And it's like
cool
sheet metal. I've not assembled it yet because I was reading the instructions and it involves precisely bending metal sheets. And I wanted to make it last night, but I was very tired. I thought, this is a recipe for me cutting tiny bits of metal, cutting my hands, bleeding everywhere, and then folding it and screwing it up. So tomorrow,
falling asleep in your own blood.
It's just like, oh god, I'm bleeding everywhere. So tomorrow I'm going to assemble this. It looks really fucking cool. It's like, it's like from Paradox Interactive, obviously Hearts of Iron.
Cool.
Which is really cool. And he sent me some DIY tea bags. I assume this is in reference to me going on about T2Ts ages ago.
Okay, so it's not a teabagging reference video game.
It's literally right. These are so cool, and I've used them at work with my loose leaf tea, because obviously I'm not going to be a wanker who takes like a fucking tea infuser to work and gets made fun of. I swear that's not happened. It's basically just like little like mesh bags that you can tie and put tea in, and I had to double check what they were, because it's like basically got like a Japanese it's a Chinese label. And I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't want any. There's numbers. There's 15:32:38/120, and I was like, I have no idea what this is. But it looked like tea bags, and those are super useful. Which apparently I've discovered are just a thing that you can do. I'd never occurred to me that tea bags were things you could buy without tea in them and put your own tea in them. So I can just like make tea bags of just like jasmine tea or like ridiculous rooibos tea. It's good.
Right.
So thank you very much.
That's cool.
Brought to you by Caffeination, yeah.
That is really cool. I had apparently the listener sent me something today as well. He's gonna send you something as well, I think.
Indeed.
We'll have to talk about that when it arrives. Whoa. Was that like a Mustang in the background?
Fucking yeah! Something ludicrously fast just drove down my street, and it's kind of terrifying.
Sounded like in V8. We had other listeners on Twitter. I was talking about having ridden a lot on the motorbike this week, and I had requests to tell biker stories. Although I guess I made it sound like I went on like an epic journey or something. But basically, my bike was in repair for quite a long time, so I didn't ride a lot this year. So I was like determined. Now the weather was getting better, and I was like determined to like make up for it. So it's a Thursday when we're recording this. So from last Thursday to today, I rode about like over 2,000 kilometers. But it's not like one journeys, but just basically from Hanover to Hamburg, to around Hamburg, to other places, back to Hanover, to Duisburg where the parents live, back up. So I basically the whole northwest of Germany covered, drove back and forth. And it was really cool. Had some interesting things along the way, car people that are trying to kill you. That's just mad. Like there's at some point I was like on a country road, and there was like some car had lost like motor oil, and then there was like they were backing up. There was like a traffic jam basically, but only on like one side of the road, so the other one was completely free. And if you ever did stop and go on a motorbike, you know that it's like after like 20 minutes or so you're dead, because in a car where you can just like, even in a car it gets exhausting with like the clutch.
Yep.
But on the motorbike you have this lever which is like really like has a lot of pull, and you have to pull that back all the time. Like with your one hand you can never let go. And if it's real stop and go, then you basically can't change into neutral. You have to do that all the time. And then also if it's like warm as it was and you were like wearing proper protective gear, then you get like really hot. So, this is why lots of motorbikes like kind of overtake on the, just slowly go past. It's not because they're dickheads. Well, some people are dickheads. But on the other hand, also it's like, if you can do that, why would you like be stuck in a traffic jam? Like, it's not like you help the cars by also being stuck in the traffic jam. So I'm like going past like on the side of the lane, which is like technically I guess it's illegal, but like everybody does that, and I was being really careful. And then this bitch I guess sees me coming and like honks her horn and pulls out of the line, like to like basically have me run into her or whatever. Like I was going really slowly, so it's not like I wouldn't have seen that, but it's like, what the fuck are people thinking? It's like, I run into her and like demolish her car, demolish my motorbike, then break like my arm or whatever. And then suddenly, I bet at that point, it's like, oh, I didn't mean that. Yeah, fuck you. I just like, with people like that, I don't get them. Like, I'm wearing like a cut and whatever. I just imagine you do that to like an actual Hell's Angel. Like, if you do that, like, he'll just like park his bike, get out of the bike, like pull you out of the car and just probably like beat you unconscious or whatever. People are such idiots. One interesting thing, I was like, I was driving around, like I had a day off, so I was driving around like Hamburg, and there's like some really nice, where the Elbe is, the Elbe River. There's like, it's like some marshlands. It's like east of Hamburg basically. It's really, really nice. So I was driving around, and then in this like kind of town, there were like it was like an MC leaving from like I guess it was like their clubhouse or whatever. So they're leaving, and then I were like, some of them had made it on the road, but there was like traffic, so they couldn't all like leave. So I saw that the opposite side of the traffic there was kind of no traffic, so I stopped like basically my side of the traffic to let them all out. And then I see there were there's an MC called Blue Knights.
Right.
They're all like law enforcement. They're all like police officers or like retired police officers. I swear to God, it's the only MC where like they're driving in a group of like 20 bikes, like basically blocking the whole road, and then they're going exactly the speed limit. I nearly ran into them once or twice because I wasn't expecting them to go so slowly. And then the most amazing things, like they were obviously driving the same route as I, so I was driving behind them for like, I don't know, 20 minutes. And we're going like through a town there called Bullendorf, which basically means Copper's town. I was laughing a lot when that happened. Yeah, so that was it. No more biker stories. Everything else was like really uneventful, but that was fun. So that I was doing that. That's what I was doing last week.
Nice, yeah.
You're just driving back and forth from work, aren't you?
Yeah, just lots of motorway driving. It's the most tedious thing in the world, but it does mean I get to listen to loads of metal.
Or podcasts. You could listen to podcasts.
I mean, you could listen to podcasts, but I find the metal more relaxing. To deal with the just rage of like, oh my god, why do I have another 50 miles to drive today?
Well, as I said before the show, it could be worse. Could be like me today. You have to drive 150 kilometers, and then you get wet halfway, and then like really wet, and then you shiver for basically 1.5 hours before you get to work, and can change clothes.
That's, I guess, really bad.
And then I had to leave the motorway because it was like raining so much that like I couldn't drive there anymore. And then I got too late to my meeting as well. It was wet, and oh god, that was not a good day today.
That sounds shit.
Anyway, speaking of metal.
Yeah, there's a new Hailstorm album. It's really fucking good.
It's good.
It's really, man, the opening track, the one that is my favourite that I've got, No Grave But the Sea, the titular track of the album. Oh, it's so good. I love that. I think it's really good.
It's really good. I like Fucked With an Anchor.
Yeah, I saw
my kind of song.
I saw like it was I think it was in Discord, people were reacting to you just tweeting the lyrics.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's okay. It's like, that is the lyrics to an Hailstorm song.
Suddenly everything made sense.
It's like, oh, this makes loads of sense.
Have you listened to the dog versions?
Yeah, so I don't know how I missed it. Normally, I don't know, I kind of like skip bonus tracks generally. But on the deluxe edition, there's dog versions of every track. So the first track is called No Grave But the Sea. The first bonus track is called No Grave But the Sea for Dogs. And it's basically the same song, except there's barking for lyrics.
Yeah.
And then there's Mexico for Dogs, because the first track's called Mexico. It's fucking just everything's for dogs.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's so weird. I wonder if it's like a response to like Sabaton's Carolus Rex doing it all in Swedish.
That would be amazing.
We're doing it all in dog, and it's really fucking.
I wonder if it works. Like if you have dogs, if they're like really, if they react to it,
if they just get hyped.
Yeah, they just bark as well. Be good. Yeah. So I guess we have to talk a little bit about the new 40K. You disappointed me. You didn't go to Warhammer.
Yeah,
so you didn't buy Tom Walton a beer. So now I have to do it. So I have to do everything myself here. Fucking Ultramarines, like you depend on them for like one assault and they let you down.
No, so what was it? Was it last weekend? What the weekend?
No, weekend before I think. Yeah.
I was going to go on the Sunday. That weekend was also Birmingham Pride. Which I didn't really factor into plans because my flat is like low down in the building and on like the main street across from the main like dance tent thing. So that meant for Friday night, I had the wonderful sound of builders shouting until 2 a.m, assembling the tent. Actually, no, sorry. Yeah, because so the funny thing was that it's like I woke up at 2 a.m, hearing builders shouting outside, being, oh, okay, the builders, they're building the tent because today's the day that Pride is. It must be about 8 o'clock. I'll get up and make breakfast. Nope, 2 a.m, people shouting, fucking reversing forklift trucks.
Doot, doot, doot.
And then at about midday, then at about 11, the sound check starts. And at that point, I'm like, fuck. I regret living here. Because this time last year, I wasn't in Birmingham. I was in Sheffield that weekend, so I conveniently missed all this. So this is the first year I've actually been in Birmingham and experienced Pride. It's very loud. And then the music started, and then the music continued until 1:30 in the morning on the Saturday, which meant I didn't get any sleep, which meant I got to sleep at 2.
It was like a fucking Battlestar Galactica episode.
Yeah, which meant that I woke up at about midday, by which point I was like, by the time I get to Coventry, I will have an hour there and I'll have to come home. So I thought, fuck it, I'm staying home. And
so what are you saying? It's the gay people's fault.
I mean, it's just music's fault, to be honest. If it was good music, if it was metal, I'd be yo, I'll be fucking. So because the flat, basically because it interrupts our flow of going around places, everyone in the building gets free entry. So I went and had a walk around. It was all right. It was a lot of popular music that I didn't really like. But if it had been Hailstorm, I'd have been fucking there until 2 a.m. screaming for more. But alas, no. So yeah, I missed Warhammer Fest. I lived vicariously through Twitter. It looked fucking good. It looked really good. There were loads of people playing the new 40k. Lots of new models were on show. They had the new Dreadnought,
which Tom designed. I really like it. So Tom is Tom Walton on Twitter. We've mentioned him before. Edgeblend, yeah.
Yeah. And he's done quite a bit, it would appear, for the new 40k stuff. And you can kind of tell. So he's becoming the new Jez Goodwin. He's bloody superstar now. So he's done lots of Tau stuff previously. He's one of the big Tau battle teams.
Which makes sense because the new stuff looks a bit Tau-y.
And now it's kind of got the kind of nice Gundam-esque paneling. So you can see that you could panel line this really nicely, put some stuff shadowing in the gaps between panels.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the Dreadnought at first, but I think it's the fucking paint job. It's the Ultramarine. It's just too clean. I basically wanna get one and then see what a Dark Angel conversion would look like. Have it be from a cool chapter. I could just make it up that we just stole all the our Primaris Marines.
I can't remember which blog post it was on the thing.
But they're blocked so much now. You can't Warhammer community is
it's literally
50 posts a day. It's
it's the best. It's the best time to be at Warhammer now. It's so good.
I can't read it all.
I don't remember. So, if anyone isn't aware, they've made bigger Space Marines. They're called Primaris Marines. They're upgraded Space Marines.
Heresy.
They're 15% bigger, and therefore better. But I think in one of the blog posts they basically said all chapters will basically get them. They're not going to say that you can't. They're not going to say, "Oh my god." So they're basically not going to replace old Marines. But they're not going to be just solely for certain chapters. What
I found really interesting is they had fluff for the what's it called, the Ultima founding. So basically, it's a new founding that Gilliman kicked off, which
gets a little bit explained in the Dark Millennium,
which are going to be all Primaris Marines.
Yeah, most. I think they take some old Marines as well, but they're basically we now have more Marines. So we probably need more chapters to be.
Well, and they lost a few chapters recently in the new fluff and stuff.
Yeah, so
I'm currently
rotating them around.
I'm currently reading The Fracture of Bealtan, which is the second Coming Storm book. So I'm reading all that stuff right now. Makes sense that they went to bigger bases now, doesn't it?
Yes, I really like the normal Primaris Marines. They kind of have nice poses. They look more like Marines. Warhammer always kind of look like a little, it looked cartoony. Which I suppose
it's got its own style, yeah.
Which is kind of an aesthetic, but now they just kind of got what I feel is a more realistic. I hesitate to use the word dynamic, but they honestly look more like.
Well, basically they have the legs. Basically the thing they change is the legs. Apparently the pauldrons are the same size. They're interchangeable. Yes. So
you can use the old upgrade packs for the pauldrons.
So that's actually a very smart move.
Yeah, I believe they've also kind of kept the heads the same size.
Yeah, the heads are the same size as well.
They just kind of just corrected the proportions, and I think that lends a kind of more maybe not more dynamic in the posing, but it looks more believable that is a thing that a person would do.
I really want to see how that looks like next to, like, they haven't really shown like new Marines next to old Marines.
So I saw them in Games Workshop.
Right.
They had the Dark Millennium starter set out and primed and stuff. So I had a little browse of that, looked at them. I saw the Inceptors, the guys on jump packs. Initially,
did you put them next to old Marines?
They were some out, so I did I should have taken a photo of it.
You should have taken a photo. Where's your fucking instincts, mate?
I was having a chat. It was nice.
We need to work on your journalistic instincts. As soon as there's like a woman in the Games Workshop, like, you lose all sense of what's important, mate.
I was like, oh my god, I'm having an enjoyable experience talking to a human being about politics and LARPing. It was pretty cool. But I put them next to each other, and size-wise, I think they're okay. It's like, they look bigger, and I think that's fine. I think that kind of is going to be nice for like a variety of scale of miniatures on the battlefield. But I think in terms of like proportions and posing, like, unless you're doing some real work on your old Marines, like, I think they're just going to get outshined by the new ones. The new ones just look better and more believable. You
know what's going to be really weird? It's the tanks. Because I'm looking at my old Marines here in my glass case.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you know, the old Marines next to a Land Raider are already too big for the bloody tank. That's going to look weird with, like, Primaris Marines.
I believe in the rules... Primaris Marines are going to get their own transports. That's why there's the new Grav tank floaty thing that's basically replacing the Rhinos.
Tom designed as well.
Yeah, so the Primaris Marines aren't going to go in Rhinos or Land Raiders.
I like that.
So you won't necessarily put them next to each other.
Well, that's really weird as well. I don't like you still have like if you don't have like a chapter that's just Primaris Marines. I mean, there will be all. I don't know. That's a bit weird. So I think what Games Workshop is doing here, they will introduce more and more Primaris Marine stuff over the next years, and then at some point they're just gonna retcon them as the normal Marines.
I don't think they'll retcon them.
Well, otherwise, the thing they'll do is like they'll have to keep producing the old models as well, like the old Marine models. Because I could from the stuff they've been putting out about the story, it's very clear they want to do a kind of Age of Sigmar thing where the story is going to progress. Actually, like, a meaningful change is going to happen. And I think what they'll do is they'll slowly just be like, oh, more of the old Marines are dying, they're getting replaced. Eventually, I do think they will phase out the old Marines. Well, that would be like, but like from a story perspective, that would be supremely dumb. Because you had like these Marines for like 10,000 years. There's some that are actually 10,000 years old.
But like if you said like, oh well, if there was something like, oh, the Primaris Marines are proving ridiculously ineffective in battle, why are we bothering to put people through the process to make normal Marines when we could just make Primaris Marines?
Well, even if they do that, if they just like from now on they'll do only Primaris Marines, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's basically like even if you think that like 30% of all the old chapters have been wiped out at this point, right? Mm-hmm. There's still like 600 Space Marine chapters of like 1,000 Marines each.
Yeah, but I mean, you could...
And they won't die out for like 10,000 years because they're Space Marines.
No, I don't know. I think the attrition... But, I mean, so the Dark Millennium book takes place like 120 years in the future from the previous lot of stuff. So...
Does? Wow.
Yeah, so the Dark Imperium book is basically about the something crusade, ultimate crusade, some sort of crusade. And it's basically sort of throws you in at kind of like the thick of it. And it's like 115, I think, years after Rebute comes back. So I could see them chucking it forward a bit, being like,
so this
old
is not
Marines.
like the old stories are all set in like basically 999 M41, right? So this is like well into M42 then, right?
Pretty much. And I mean, you could take it along the lines of like, all the old ones who are still alive who aren't being produced anymore. Then are the veteran squads, so they get rid of the Tactical Marine set, but they keep the Stern Guard set, or something like that.
Right. It's just like I see what they're trying to do, but they'll have to nuke like a hell of a lot of their old. Like, can you see like the Space Wolves doing this, or the Dark Angels? Like, I completely see like the Ultramarines, Imperial Fists, right? But like, there's like chapters that are a lot about tradition. The White Scars. Okay, the Raven Guard's gonna go all in. Wow, new Marines. Okay, we're done.
It's like, guys, you're 10,000 years late to
but
the party.
like Salamanders, like they're chapters that are basically defined by the flaws they have. Blood Angels, they are defined by their tradition and by the stuff they had to go through because they have all these flaws. Oh man, maybe. I feel trepidation.
I'm excited. I'm excited for them to just bring back every Primarch. To be honest, I'm fully ready for that.
Well, a lot of ones they can't bring back. A few dead ones.
Do it. Bring them back. I mean, just do it. Come on.
I don't know. I kind of like that they like this keeps escalating. I don't know. I'm not as excited as you. I have a generally a good feeling, but I have some like the Fall of Cadia was great. The fluff in there, right? Mm-hmm. But now I'm reading like Fracture of Biltan, and it's already like it's flagging. Like the fluff in there isn't as good, to be honest. It's like some of the stuff is like not like really believable. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Like I tweeted So basically, spoilers obviously if you care about that. But like Fracture of Biltan is about basically they fuck up Biltan, the craft world, and basically Eldred Ulthran tries to have, was it Inyat? It's like the elder god of the dead, which is a god that doesn't exist. He tries to have him born, and conventional wisdom is for him to be born, all elder has to die, then he gets born, and then he kills Slanesh.
Yep.
And so stuff happens, and they get him like half born. And there's like an incarnation called the Incarn, which is like kind of the avatar of Cain, but it's the avatar of like Inyat. And they're setting it like I tweeted like if Games Workshop kills Slanesh, I'm like, that's it. I'm done. They're setting it kind of up that they kind of I feel like they want to kill Slanesh. And they basically, I didn't actually know that. I just read up on that after that. So basically, they killed Slanesh in
Sigma.
In Age of Sigma. Well, he's missing, but like, or she is, but like, which kind of makes sense because that game's like 12 and up.
Yeah.
And like the old Slanesh is like, that's really something I like. It's like the old 80s Games Workshop. It's not exactly politically correct, It's like bare breasts and lots of like SM stuff.
Yeah, I'm as a pure boy. I'm wholesome. I don't mind. Get rid of all the Chaos Gods. We'll be happy. We'll just chill.
I don't know. This feels like they're filing off the edges of 40k. Like I hope that they don't do that. Like advancing the stories are well and good. I personally really don't understand why you have to. Like. I really like that about 40k. I mean, it was kind of like stuck, but that was its thing. And it's also like a very reassuring feeling, when you lived with this setting, like from when you were 12, whatever, or longer in other people's cases. And it's like, it's always the same. It's kind of good. I get that they want to change it because they want to get new models out and stuff, but oh god, I just hope they don't fuck it up. And I'm calling one thing. I'm calling this now. In 15 to 20 years, there will be this huge nostalgia and everybody will be like, "Oh, remember when like Space Marines had like these weird proportions, and they were kind of adoring, and you know our youth." You'll be like that, Dave. In 20 years, you'll be like that. I'm calling it now. There'll be this thing. I'll keep my old Marines, and they'll be like worth a lot then.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not going to
original
get
Dark
rid of my
Angels.
Marines. I'm not going to get rid of my Marines, but yeah, I could quite, like, you know, there's lots of people who have sentimental kind of feelings about the old metal ones, which I think look like dog shit. And yeah, I could see that happening. That I could go be like, oh man, remember when I got a box of Space Marine Scouts, and it was
when they were cute. I don't know. So when you were thinking, I was thinking about, like, I was reading Fracture of Beelzebub, and I was thinking about, wow, I really want an Elder army.
Yeah, that's the thing with these books, is they just fucking make you want to buy more.
But I can't at the moment because, you know, oh god, moving, holiday. I just can't spend any money right now. But like, I really like the same hand stuff.
Yeah,
you know, the wild riders, jet bike riders. I like, obviously I like this. I like the Raven Wing. I like motorbikes and stuff.
No way, just fab like motorbikes. No, I've never.
I was actually thinking that would like the wild rider like Elder rune.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really cool. That would make an excellent tattoo.
40k tattoos are like a new low.
What? No.
Nah, they're alright. I mean, I think
like the other one I always wanted like an Imperial fist, like the you know how they have like the fist in a laurel wreath.
Yes,
that looks amazing.
At FanFest, there was a tattoo booth where you could get like various EVE Online
I heard that,
bits tattooed to you, and I was thinking like, what are the things in my life that I have felt passionate about for a long enough time to make a tattoo not seem like a foolish thing? And pretty much breathing and 40k are the two things.
See?
That I've liked since I was a wee child. So, I mean, potentially. But, yeah. I don't know. I'll let you do that one. I'm too scared of the pain. I'm too scared of the pain. I'm a wimp.
Yeah, it did hurt, but like, yeah.
There was another bit of like 40k news. Is that Dawn of War 3 is coming out on Linux-based systems.
Oh, it is out. It's out. It was out today, actually.
Aha.
Linux and Mac. Dawn of War 3 is out, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. It doesn't affect me in the slightest because I don't have Mac and I don't really use Linux with the screen.
Hater of freedom. I thought we should mention it because we still have a lot of listeners from LO days.
It's really cool, actually. Like, because that's one of the things like I had a go at Foss Talk Live last year when we talked about video games and like why I don't use Linux, because people were saying, you can play games on Linux, but I refuse to accept wine as a solution. It's not a solution. And basically people saying that there are these games. I'm like, yes, but those are old games. I want the new hotness, the things that people are talking about now. And I feel like this is super well timed. Like it's come out a bit later.
It's Feral Interactive ported it.
Yeah, but it, you know, like loads of games take a lot longer to port to thing or never arrive. I think it's just really nice.
Yeah, this was actually quite quick, I thought.
Yeah, because it's like I still haven't like had enough time to get the Windows version in a Steam sale yet.
Well, the thing is, like, I have the Steam version, so I can play it on Linux now too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and yeah, Dave doesn't use Linux because he doesn't have taste. Why he is a Smurf. That's very easy.
Yeah, I had thinking of games that you will approve and you will think. And like since the last episode, I've put about 20 hours into Elite Dangerous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Eve has been feeling a bit like a chore. I got some stuff blown up and I got very salty about it. So I went, fuck it, I'm going to be a space trucker. So I've just been making like millions space trucking around. And then like getting, you know, combat ships and getting them blown up because I'm shit. I'm really bad. My favorite thing to do is accidentally attack, go bounty hunting, but accidentally attack people in wings and then go, there's 3 of them. I'm dead.
I still do that, yeah. So
you just read the thing. You just read the thing that says they're wing.
Yeah,
like, okay.
But like I don't know how it's you, but I was like, I can take them, and I like kill kill 2, but then like everything's like shield's gone, health. I was like, fuck, I can't, no.
Too bad.
We should wing up. We should at some point, and then it's a lot of fun if you do it together.
I made a Hollow Knee.
Oh, cool.
I then deleted my character and made a new person. Like I cleared my save just because I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing.
This is probably. Do I still have you in my friend list?
I think it. I mean, I've got the same character name, so I assume so.
No, I don't think so. So we need to do that again.
So I just made a new person because I didn't really know where I was. I wasn't really near any good mission-y things, so I just been sort of hanging around in like Empire space, like earning money.
Where are you at now?
Roughly. Very near the starting area, like maybe within a 50 light year radius.
Well,
of that.
there's like I think it's randomized at some point.
So I think you get an option of choosing at the bit, like because you can
so long.
I think because you can either have the Horizon start where you start off in a so if you have the Horizon start, I think you start off in a specific system, but I just didn't like random Empire space.
So I have a Becca thing. I started off at the Founders.
I want to call it Eridani, but that's definitely a place.
Epsilon Eridani?
Yeah, that's like actually like a real place, and it's in. I'm just thinking of it because it's in some sci-fi.
We'll have to wing up at some point. That sounds great. I think
good. It is good. I will give you it is. I find the combat in that more the combat in Eve because I'm better at it. I feel like I do more.
Sorry, you cut out. Did you find it better or worse?
Better. Like it's just more fun. Docking is just really fun. I really like docking.
Docking's great, isn't it?
It's just good. It's so satisfying. Enjoy that. I'm so good at it now.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you get like the point where you know like your HOTA so well that you can just like the rotation. You can just do that on the stick. You know exactly where you have to notch like your that axis so you stay like level with the slot.
It's so lovely.
Have you ever seen when they do like the speed docking competitions?
Yeah, I have watched compilations of that, and when they go wrong, it's hilarious.
Have you seen the like if you smuggle and you're docking, like how the people they just like they start out a few kilometers out of the station, like out of the scan radius, and then they go to silent running, and then they go to like flight assist off, and they just they accelerate the ship, and then they go flight assist off, silent running, and then they just float in with like minimal thrust. I've been never able to do that, but I find that so amazing. It's so awesome to watch, and they just float in the station. It can't be scanned. So good.
Like gameplay question. Like, how do you get speeding fines, right?
Yeah.
How?
Well, no. Like, if you speed, you can speed. Doesn't matter. You only get fined if you ram another ship while you're speeding. So if you're not speeding and you ram another ship, as long as you don't like kind of really fuck them up.
Because I've been like really kind of precious about not speeding because I couldn't remember how you get speeding fines.
Well, you can speed as long as you want to. Just don't run into anything.
Because like it makes getting like to the entrance. If you like, you warp in and you're on the wrong side of the fucking spinning tesseract. It's like, oh god.
Like if I have a small ship, like my bounty hunting ship's my Vulture, and that's actually pretty fast. The way I've spec'd it up, and it's like. Hess is amazing. I love the Vulture. Just for the engine sounds, I think it has the best engine sound in the game. At least from the ships that I own. Hess is like... It's like when you just fire up the thrust, it just goes like... It sounds like a sports car. It sounds like it's not like completely stable. It sounds like it has too much power for its frame or whatever. And I dock, like, because it's really small, I just like... I full pelt into the station, like, last minute, oh shit, there's like a Type 7, just like evaded by like a centimeter.
So I want to get like a Asp Explorer and go out and like explore some stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice ship.
It's good. It's been fun.
It's good. Yeah.
Okay, there was this thing you sent me yesterday, and you were like, we have to talk about this.
Oh, this is so amazing.
Like, what is it? Something to do with Instagram and...
No. They question, because I knew this, but apparently, like, even a lot of people at my work didn't. Do you know about the tracking dots on printers?
Are they the ones that you can like? They can identify which printer printed a. I am aware of that because it's come up. It's come up in like. So it's like if someone sends a ransom note printed on a printer, they can work out it's from someone. Also, I think it's to like, very basically like a counterfeiting.
That's what they said when. So to explain, if you don't know, like apparently a lot of people don't know. I thought I was mad because I knew this, but this is also because I like crime stories and spy shit. So I read this at some point. So in 2005, I think the EFF got like sent some stuff, and then they figured out that laser printers will print small yellow dots that you pretty much can't see with the naked eye. You need like blue light or like a USB microscope or something like that, right? To see them. And they print like this little matrices or like this patterns on the paper on every printout. So what it is basically, how like back in the day they could identify like ransom notes or something like that from the typewriter.
Yeah.
Because every typewriter is like subtly different, and you can see by like the way it. If you have a type page, and you can basically forensics can match it up with like the typewriter if they get their hand on it. So, and they thought people started when laser copiers came out. People were using these to apparently like counterfeit money. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool, like if we have the same thing? They said it was for like counterfeit and anti-counterfeit, but obviously it can be used like to trace ransom notes and stuff like this. So the police finds it really handy. So they introduced this for laser copiers, and then because laser printers basically use the same technology pretty much, they built that in there, and it's been in there ever since. And apparently, the EFF says they have reports which they can't confirm, but they think they are believable, that there's newer technology where it's not yellow dots, but like the laser printer will, if it prints a letter, right, it will print like some of the dots basically it makes to make the letter in a different position than where they should be if the letter was perfect.
Wow.
And from that, you can encode. Like, basically what they're encoding in the dots is the time the document was printed and the printer serial number. And by that, like, if you're in an office or whatever and you log your print jobs, you can figure out who printed it. So basically, there was, at the beginning of this week, I missed the story because I was busy with other stuff, and I just, like, researched this yesterday, and, like, I was like, wow, how can this happen? So basically, there was a NSA whistleblower. Her name is apparently Reality Winner. Is apparently her name.
Oh, that's her name. That makes a lot of headlines.
Yeah, and it's like, what's wrong with parents these days? But anyway, so apparently that's her name. Apparently she printed out. She's working as a contractor at an NSA office. And I think in May, the NSA had like an internal report on how the Russians hacked the election last year. And they printed it. She printed it out and took it home, scanned it in, and apparently leaked it to the Intercept. Journalists at the Intercept. Now, apparently, whoever was handling this at the Intercept didn't know about the printer dots. So when they were verifying the story with the NSA, they handed the NSA the documents, like the scans, a copy of the scans they got from the whistleblower.
Yeah.
Which first off, I don't know why they did that. Like, as a journalist, if you're trying to protect your source, you would never do that. Yes, you need to verify your story. Like, you need to verify the story, but you would kind of just tell them what you've been told, or like, I don't know, you'd basically want to prevent them identifying the whistleblower, right? Mm-hmm. So because you need to protect your source. So if you give them the direct documents, I mean, so what they did is they handed them the documents. The documents had tracking dots, so the NSA could like easily find her. That's not why they would have found her anyway, I think, because if you on an hour after the Intercept report, was published, she was arrested, and they filed like charges against her. So, and in the charges it says, so basically this document inside the NSA was apparently only printed out 6 times, and what they did is they went to the computers of all 6 people that printed out the document, and on one computer they've also found emails to of somebody being in contact from that computer with somebody at the Intercept or at the press station. So
emailing the Intercept from your work PC.
Yeah.
This is like conducting union business on your work email account.
It's
OPSEC.
So I think without the Intercept having given them the tracking dot thing, they would have still like easily identified her.
Yeah.
But still, that they did that. Like, actually, the Intercept then uploaded these documents to when they published the story. So Robert Graham, ErrataSec, actually downloaded the document and showed you how you could detect the dots because they were in the scans. Like you just mirror or turn the page around, then invert the color so they pop out better because they're yellow. They're kind of hard to see.
Right.
And then there's like the EFF actually has a tool that can decode some of the patterns.
Oh.
And he then decoded that, and you can get the printer serial number or whatever. So, like, what the fuck? The Intercept's like this green-walled investigative. They're like, basically, we're so amazing. And then they do like shit like that. And now, actually, today, this is even worse. WikiLeaks has like published, they put out like a bounty on to expose the guy from the Intercept who did this and get him fired. Well, they said terminate him. I don't know if they mean fired or killed.
I think they mean kill.
But whatever, is like, that's obviously total shit because, like, yeah, the guy did a mistake. But, everybody, we all, if you work at you've made mistakes, right?
Yeah, everyone has a bad day.
And it's like, it's not like, it shouldn't be his responsibility. Like, actually, Greenwald or whoever runs the Intercept should have, like, fucking apologized by now. And it's like their responsibility. And I think the Intercept, like, no whistleblower in their right mind will leak anything to them now.
No.
Because, okay. It's like, I actually, at Heise, we have like we actually have a secure drop installation, which I've helped maintain and shit. And we have, like, we published, like, guides on how to leak stuff. How to not leak stuff. Like, one of the easiest things is like the point why it's secure drop and it's like a Tor. It's like a Tor thing. Is like, so that, like, you wouldn't at work like go to like heise.de/leak shit because that's immediately gonna get caught in some log. Yeah. Like, there's, like, intrusion detections or whatever, like, systems that check for this. And, like, you wouldn't do it at your work computer. You probably wouldn't use Tor either because that would get flagged. But at least with Tor, like, they can't really tell what URL you went to. And there's more protection. Like, but it's, like, you have to be really careful if you leak shit like this. And you better know about, like, fucking printed dots. Yeah. Idiots.
What was the thing about some sort of botnet and Britney Spears or something?
Oh, that was amazing. So yesterday I wrote a story. This is great.
I just saw the tweet of you being like, I just wrote about Britney Spears' Instagram account controlling a thing. I was like, what?
Sometimes I like my job because sometimes they're really funny stories. So I don't know. Have you heard about Tölva?
No, not at all.
Apparently, Russian Hackers TM, it's a Russian hacking group, apparently state-sponsored. They did, there's like a Tölva Penguin was like one of their Trojans. Apparently, they've been actually operating for decades, I think. And they, like, last year, there was like this, I think it was an SSH backdoor. Basically, it owns Linux servers. So what they do is, like, they attack like embassies and shit. Mm-hmm. And they do like targeted spear phishing campaigns where they like find like a target they want and then they attack them and like send them malware basically and then spy on them, like exfiltrate info from their computers. And what they did is, like, for one Trojan apparently which is like it's a Firefox extension that masquerades as security software. Mm-hmm. So they send that to somebody, their computer gets infected. And normally you have a command and control server.
Yes.
And the downside, the downside with that is like you would put that code in the Trojan, but then like security people who look at that will find your command and control server. So what they did is like this Trojan would go to Britney Spears' Instagram, I shit you not, pass all the comments,
right,
hash the comments, and then certain comments which the hackers put on there. Well, they have a certain hash, and if that hash like is mad, they know that this is like a comment from them, and then they pass this comment like with regex and whatever, and that will give like passing that comment with like their regex will give them a bit.ly URL. which is the URL to their command and control server.
That's so fucking cool.
Well, the cool thing is like these comments, like you can't like this was ESET, like the AV company. I mean, Kaspersky's been looking into Tölva as well, but they had this report. So if you look at, I'm gonna put a link in the show notes, especially to like a picture. So this is like a picture from Britney Spears' Instagram account, and they highlighted the comment. And so the comment is by a user called asmith2155. Hashtag 2hot, like number 2hot. Make love to her, comma, oops. Hashtag hot, hashtag X.
Wow.
And this also has, there's a Unicode character in there that is like non-printable.
Oh.
So that you can't see, but that gets evaluated if you look at the source code. And like if you put that to the regex, gets like the bit.ly URL, and then of course it's like the command and control service like hosted at like the Iranian embassy to the US, like their web space. Actually, the Russian embassy. I think if they're really Russians, they like hack their own fucking embassy to put the which is genius. Like you wouldn't suspect. It's great. They're great. These people like I know they're hackers and they're bad, but they're also great. Like using Britney Spears' Instagram, like. Of anybody is like the perfect gut punch. I also liked Sabaton on security on Twitter. Yes. Sabaton security.
It's a really good
had some wise words about this.
Yeah.
It's so good. Just like that made me just laugh. I read the stories like I gotta write this up. This is so fucking amazing. It is like you can't tell the code. Like if you look, I actually scrolled through her Instagram and there's like she has like a photo and there's like 500,000 likes and like 5,000 comments. Like, and you scroll through that and there's like complete bullshit that doesn't make any sense.
For all you know, like that now every kind of weird comment I see somewhere, I'm like, oh man, that is command control for malware. Yeah. What if actually, like, that's what the Daily Mail comments are?
Mind blown. Mind blown.
But actually, no one's really racist. It's just hackers, like, hashing stuff to make fucking messages. That's so cool. Oh, that's good. I mean, it's not good, but it's good.
It is. It's just amazing.
Right. Is the signal from Tölva good?
Yes.
What is the signal from Tölva?
So the signal from Tölva. Tölva is actually, I think, Icelandic for computer.
What?
And I love it because I'm one of the few people who can actually type it correctly because I have a German keyboard with an Ö on it. So it is by Jim Rossignol, who founded Rock Paper Shotgun.
Yes,
but it's not.
Right for PC Gamer.
Yep, and it's not. He's not at RPS anymore because they got bought by was it Geek Network or whatever?
Something
Eurogamer, like basically. I think he cashed out. But they always have this funny disclaimer on like the RPS stories about Tölva, which is great. So basically, he founded a game company called Big Robot. Mm-hmm. And they had like So You Been Hunted is the first game they made, which is a great game. Actually, Professor Elemental did a video for that, which I just recently learned. It's great. I was listening like to his album. There's a song called You're Being Hunted. It's like, what? And then this sounds like the video game. Yeah, and there's also a great video. Anyway, so they're cool. And actually, for work, I wrote them if I could have a review copy. And I reviewed it for Heise Online. But it's great. So it's basically, I think Rossignol really likes Stalker. And think of it as Stalker with like a bit of the visual vibe of No Man's Sky.
Okay. Right.
And everything like being robots. So Stalker, I really like Stalker, but Stalker is like really scary and really dark and like grimdark and shit.
Yeah.
And this is basically the mechanics from Stalker. It's like a open world. You run around, and you have to salvage shit. But it's like the world's a bit. Actually, the backstory is quite dark, but like you wouldn't really know because it looks really good. Like if you look at screenshots, it looks really happy. Actually, Ian McKee, who used to be at Rockstar, he used to do like concept art for Grand Theft Auto. If you don't follow him on Twitter, oh God, what's his Twitter account? I follow him, but I just have to look this up because you need to follow him on Twitter. He's great. His Twitter handle is Ian McKee. That is Indigo Alpha November Mexico Charlie Quebec. What's Uniform Echo. Ian McKee. He did like normally you'd think he did the concept art, right? But the way they did this art for the game, there's lots of like procedural stuff, and it turns out like the artists basically turned they used his concept art for like the robots and the ships, but then also they developed like an algorithm to turn his concept art into like textures.
Okay.
So like basically the textures of like the lots of the scenery is like procedural. Then they tweaked it obviously by hand later.
That's cool.
But that's where the look comes from. And if you buy this game, one thing a lot of people I don't think know is like if you go to like either your game folder or you click on the manual link. You know how you can get manual of games in Steam?
Yeah.
Like in the menu there somewhere. You don't get a manual, you get the lore book. And it's great. It is really amazing. It explains the lore behind the games, lots of concept art, and it's a really deep story. So let me first explain what the game is, and later I'll go on about the story because I love lore and it's great. But so basically, this is a planet, and there's only robots in the game, right? The whole planet is like there's lots of junk on there because it's really old and lots of stuff crashed, and there are robot factions on the surface of the planet. They're kind of fighting and they're salvaging shit. They're like these robot drones. And you as the player, you basically you're a conscience that gets linked into the drone from orbit. And so when a drone dies, you just go back to, like when you die, you get just linked into another drone. They just take over another drone that's on the surface. So that's like the conceit for you. Basically, you can't die. And what you do is like you run around. It's a shooter. You have like different weapons, and you kind of there's robot factions that are going about their business, kind of like in Stalker, how they're like factions and stuff. Yep. And you just try to salvage shit, improve your drone, improve your weaponry, and do missions for like the faction you're with because you need like more access to go to places, and you're trying to find the signal from Tölva.
This does sound awfully like Stalker.
It does, but it doesn't have like it's a lot more relaxed. Okay, it's very chill, but like it's a lot of like this is a great game when you had a stressful day at work, and you want to sit down and just how shooting shit is relaxing. Like a good shooter can be relaxing, but but it's not stressful. Like, there's lots of exploration involved and shit.
Yeah, Stalker was really stressful, just generally because of...
Yeah, this is not stressful at all. This is like, I mean, I play it on an easy difficulty, but anyway, it's like, you can take stuff, like, you can be stealthily, you can just, like, take it easy, take it slow, you can pick your fights. And so basically what you do is, like, there are these relays which if you like kill all the enemies around that, your faction owns it, and then you can spawn there. And there's bunkers, and bunkers is you can also spawn there, but they're also defended, and you can like change your loadout and upload the stuff you discover. Like you scan shit to find the signal, and then find signals and whatever, and then you can upload that at a bunker, and you get like whatever credits and for salvage, and you can improve your little drone. And then you just walk around, and you will see like you will take over a bunker, and then later on another faction might take that over again, and you have to take it back, whatever. And I'm not through the story. I haven't found the signal, whatever, so I don't know where it's going. I'm just like taking it easy and playing it from time to time, and it's just one of these games that you can just go through. You can jump in because it's not hard. Like you have you walk, and then you have 3 buttons. Like you have different weapons. You have like what's basically a pistol. You have rifles. You have sniper rifles, and you have like kind of a beam gun. And you can have 2 at the time. And you have this shield you can activate. So if you know you can get hit, you will get hit. You can activate this shield, which it's on a cooldown, and it just be up for a certain amount of time. But while it's up, you take less damage. So if you know you're going to take on 3 enemies and you're going to get hit, you activate that beforehand. And it's a really nice mechanic. You can snipe around, and the weapons feel really great. Like even like the drones, they're very clunky. Like the way they walk. Like if you do like a melee attack, it's like this unreal. Like this arm pops out. Doesn't look like a human. It's like a robot arm coming out, and the weapons are like they're all attached. They're like energy weapons, and they're attached to you. And when you recharge them, you can see like this energy going through the cables. Like boom, boom, boom makes a sound, and they all go like stuff like that. It's like lightning bolts, and it's got really nice art direction and nice sound and just its own feel. And you're just shooting robots, so it's not like really violent. They explode really satisfyingly, but they're robots, so good. And it's got this nice, when you link in, it's got like this like Linux terminal thing loading stuff, and then the screen. Like I love like these glitchy games when like the screen flickers. Yeah. And when you get hit, like your screen goes worse and worse, and then you fall over.
Remotely, yeah, okay, that's cool.
I'm gonna link the Heise story I wrote in the show notes. It's in German, but there's a video which is also in German, but you can basically watch the video anyway, and you'll see a lot of the like, just ignore the Germanness, right? And you will at least see what it looks like, and there's some screenshots in there. It's just cool. It's a nice game. The lighting is really nice.
I'm kind of like intrigued why it hasn't kind of been talked about more. Like it's kind of like a kind of a big dude in the kind of British writing words about video game scene.
Well, they talked about it on Crate and Crowbar, and it got some favorable reviews. But it's just like it's an indie game, so it like didn't have a huge PR campaign. I think it's amazing. Like they're like 5 people, and if you look at that game, it's amazing what they got done. I mean, it's not like it's an open world, but it's still kind of linear. Like there's path you take, but it's really nice. It looks nice if you look at the screenshots. It looks nice. It has like a really nice day-night cycle. It's like when you get hit, it's like your screen goes like flickers and shit, and then you just like a drone falls over and stuff. And then you get like terminal messages and shit. It's really well done. And I must say, I love the lore. So if you read the lore book, this is actually set in the future, humans colonized space, and they did this by building mile ships, which were really long, like really big spaceships. And basically, it's kind of like the usual story. They sent out like these ships and AI ships to build like gates and whatever to like colonize So they invented like basically warp drive, where it kind of shifts space, and then humanity colonized the stars a bit. But then there came a big shift. So they had obviously internet, computer networks and shit. And then they invented this technology which basically allows you to communicate over any distance in real time.
Oh wow.
So even a bigger paradigm shift than having something like warp drive. You know, you could communicate with a point at the other end of the galaxy, like in real time. And then they built something called the Star Network, which was like an interstellar internet, basically. So they connected all their computers and built AI and whatever. And the problem is, if you have like computers all over the universe and they can communicate in real time, it's basically like a huge brain. Mm-hmm. And AI got like really, really powerful. So basically what it did to AI got like too powerful for humanity.
Right.
They basically took over. So they had the Star Network and they had AIs, and they developed like it's called the magnitude setting, and they developed like different magnitudes of consciousness, basically like minds. They keep calling them minds in the story.
Right.
And at some point, the like computers basically like they're not even computers; they're like artificial minds. They decided humanity is holding them back, and they cut off humanity from the Star Network.
Oh.
And they basically like it's kind of like Babylon 5, like the old ones. They kind of they were so advanced they didn't like cut out, like they didn't kill humanity, right? They weren't like, oh, we need to kill them. They're just like, no, they're just like ants to us now. Like when they cut off humanity from the network, they obviously killed millions of humans. Yeah. And like there were planets that couldn't survive because like, you know, we take all the chips now and all the computers, and you just can sit on your planet. And if the planet's dependent on like getting food from another planet, you don't have any chips anymore and you'll die. But they weren't maliciously like wiping out humanity. So humanity is still around, but it's like basically compared to like all these minds, it's insignificant. And then what happened is like these AIs discovered a planet that had like a distant civilization, like remains from civilization on there. The civilization was gone, and then the AIs decided they need to figure out like what happened. They need to figure out like what it's all about, you know, the universe, and if there were other intelligent life and shit. And this is where like basically they split, like they had like almost like a religious war. So there are now many AI factions. One of them is called the Surveyors, which is the one you control in the game. And so now they basically had a disagreement on what they would spend their time on doing. And they're like the zealots now, and they're almost religious, and this is great. This is your faction. There's a faction called the Q-Mass Builders. Right. And what they're doing is basically, they're like, okay, they're AIs, and they analyze, okay, there's going to be heat death of the universe, and we need to prepare for that. Okay. So basically, we need to survive the heat death of the universe. And to do that, it will be such a huge undertaking that we'll better start now. And from now until the heat death of a universe, we will devote all our resources and all our processing power to like solving this problem.
That sounds cool.
So they do shit like all the other AIs don't really understand. Like they don't give a shit, and these guys are just like building stuff out in space, and nobody knows why. And you know, some of them are friendlier towards humanity, and others aren't. And so the backstory is really interesting. Actually, it's a really amazing setting. Apparently, there's going to be a novella, and this game must have been at least a bit successful because they already announced that they're going to do an expansion later in the year, which is going to be snowy stuff and more story. And it's really cool. It's a nice game. It looks really good. I mean, I would recommend. I'm not usually a shooter guy.
Yeah, no, that kind of surprised me that this was a thing that you were remotely interested in.
Well, I like shooters when they're good. Like, I don't like multiplayer shooters really, because also I'm shit, and this is multiplayer, and it's just like good stories. And this actually, the game itself doesn't have a story. Like if there wasn't the lore book, you would know all this shit. But it's just good. Like I like weapons that like satisfy into fire, and this game is down my alley because it's really relaxed.
Fair.
Yeah,
I'm kind of interested. Look, it's quite cheap.
I would definitely recommend getting it. I mean, you can't I would recommend, like, if you like nice science fiction stories, just get it for the fucking lore book, because it's great. It looks great. It's really good story. It's written by Jim. Yeah, it's Jim Rossignol and a writer called Cassandra Core.
Right.
And then obviously there's great art from Ian McKee. And they're really nice guys, like, gotta say, it's not like Heise is like, usually you have to explain who they are. They're really nice. They sent me a key, and I tweeted to them a few times, and they replied. And then, I like just like indie developers like that, where you have a feeling that they're really cool people.
Yeah, Jim, from all the stuff I've read, has been great. I'm pretty sure he used to be on the PC Gamer UK podcast back in the day.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Jim.
If in doubt, Google it.
I swear he was.
Unlike Craig and Crowbar, we always have the internet at our fingertips. And we will...
PC Gamer. I swear. Yeah, he has written for PC Gamer, which is, I think, where I know him from.
Right.
Originally.
Yeah, so this law book's really, it's amazing. I'm just looking at it again. It's like basically 50 pages.
Well, it's not too shabby.
No, it's really good. It's a good story as well. It's like just a different story. I like their take on AI. So they have different things here where like these minds are talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And how they like kind of work, and it's really interesting. Like it's an interesting take to think that. First of all, I mean, there've been science fiction stories where like AI takes over and then humanity is insignificant, but how different like AIs would be as consciousness if you like, the whole brain the size of a planet thing, if you can talk to anybody in the galaxy, and it's just all like basically a big internet, and then how like there's like these different magnitudes of AIs. So there's like AIs that control factories, and there's AIs that control just a single drone, and then there's like overminds that control like a whole faction basically, and how these interact and how they split off parts of their technology, and how they can't really die and get recycled, and how they develop personalities. How they will look at like historic figures from history or whatever and try to have their, work out their own personality, and you have like basically minds that are a huge ship or whatever. It's and then there's like the information brokers, which is I think who you are. Mm-hmm. At least at the beginning of the game, there's like an information broker talking to you, and they're like basically rogue. They live in the network, and the other factions are basically trying to eradicate them because they're not part of anything, but they just live in between stuff, and they just sell information.
Right. Okay. And then it's like the shadow broker from Mass Effect.
Yeah, and then there's criminal AIs, and just weird stuff. Just weird.
I'll definitely give it a go. It sounds great. You had me. It's a bit like Stalker.
Yeah, the Stalker and less stressful.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think I've got like it in me, because Stalker was a really long game, and it was very stressful. What was that? That's like 2007 or something ridiculous. But But yeah, something kind of like more chilled with those kind of mechanics.
Yeah, and this is like it like just takes the state because you try to attack like other drones and it doesn't work and you just killed and you just respawn and you try again. It's just not like I'm really dead now. You know what I mean? It's like it takes that stress away, and also it has like interesting things. So there's like ruins you can go in, and then there's like weird spatial distortions. And they're like basically bigger on the inside and weird shit. Fun game. Play it. And I don't say that because they sent me a key. Because I would have definitely bought it.
Fair.
And there's another V8.
Yeah, it's more ridiculously loud things.
Going past.
I think the only other topic we had was just something I put in at the end is a little reminder. So I'm doing Fostalk Live this month. Oh my God, it's this month. And we're doing the kind of mashup.
When is it?
It's the podcasting voice. Well, I think it's the 26th.
Oh.
It's the 24th because that is indeed a Saturday.
That's the week before we're coming over to Dublin.
It is indeed. So we are being really lazy and we're crowdsourcing kind of the content. And basically we're soliciting people questions. So there is a web form which you can fill in. It's a Google form, but you can get to it via fostalk.com/questions. Submit a question. Say whether or not you're going to go. Because if you're there, we'd like you to read it out because it should be nicer, wouldn't it? So yeah, there's it's going to be me, Joe Ressington, Stuart Langridge, and a guy called Marius Quabeck, who is a German guy, I believe. He's flying over for like a day. I think he does Ubuntu-y things.
That's German.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Come along.
There can't be another German guy at a UK FOSS event. That's my niche.
I think technically it's sold out, but I think Joe's logic is just turn up because you'll be allowed in the bar upstairs. And by the end of the night when we're doing our bit, people might have left or decided to shit. So there'll probably be space. There was last year. Also, it's going to have the best air conditioning in the country because it was ridiculously hot outside, but wonderfully warm in the wonderfully cold in the venue. What am I talking about? Wonderfully cool in the venue, which was a nice surprise for a room full of geeks not being sweaty. It was good. It's a fun time.
My question is, are Primaris Marines heresy?
Oh man, that is not even like.
Should we mess with the Emperor's divine design?
You should submit that.
The obvious answer is no.
Yes. Yeah, we've had some serious questions. We've had some not so serious questions. It's great.
Should ginger people wear orange?
Yeah, you should.
Suits?
You should definitely do that.
Yeah, I think that's it, except for the feedback.
Yeah, we got some feedback Last time we were kind of like short on feedback. This time we're not. What do we have? I've momentarily closed the sheet. Shit. Fuck.
Discord.
Yeah. We got feedback from Discord. 2 bits from Pepper J, who says, just wanted to thank you. Stumble upon LO through G-Podder and so episodes, then found
So
GNR.
you cut out and listened?
Why is my internet so crap? I'll just read it again. Can't have it. Just wanted to thank you. Stumbled upon LO through G-Podder and listened to the last 5 episodes. Then found out about GNR and had a blast. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Cool. Pepper J also then goes on to say, thanks, Mega Slippers. Thank you so much for boil my piss. I didn't know I missed this phrase in my life, but I'm sure it's helpful. It's a good phrase. I stole it from a guy called Jim Trinker who does videos about video games, or at least used to. Now he does like a video production company thing. But he's a Scottish-ish guy on Twitter. And yeah,
boiling piss. Boils me piss.
A little bit. He's got like quite a strange accent because he like lives in London, was born in Wales, but then lives a lot of time in Scotland. So like it's really hard to place where he's from. Super User has a question.
I still don't know what a Welsh accent sounds like.
I'll find some videos for you. It'll make you laugh. Super User says, has Fab used makehuman.org? And if so, what does he think of it?
No, I've never even heard about it, but I went to it.
So I think this is because you talked about Poser a while ago.
Yeah, Poser porn, was it?
I'm pretty sure that's
This be perfect for that. So basically, it's models of humans.
Yeah, it's like an open source version of Poser, as far as I can tell. It's got quite impressive stuff. It's like got a Python kind of interface where you can like programmatically do stuff, which is cool. I might play around with it, see what I can do. I mean, it's not going to be as good as Autodesk software.
There
obviously.
doesn't seem to be any porn in the gallery.
I mean, I feel there's a reason for that, to be honest. It looks kind of cool.
Interesting.
Some like really good, like really well done stuff. So the artist, was it Thomas Mucky? That almost looks photorealistic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I wonder what the rigging's like, because that's the thing with all of this stuff, is that when I've tried using it in the past, rigging things is a real pain.
That's the problem with poser porn. It's the rigging is completely... It just turns out to be unrealistic.
Yeah.
The penises are too floppy.
Well, it's a real pain to like rig things properly and then get models to deform properly when like joints are moving. So you should buy Autodesk software to do that, because it's got lots of tools to do that automatically for you. We got a couple of tweets. Do you want to read those out?
Yeah, we had a tweet from X1101, which I need to click on to load. He says, #feedback. Fab's new tattoo is awesome. Star Trek Discovery looks like it could be a train wreck. And Megaslippers is a troll. I agree with all of this. I think this was in reference to our last episode.
Yeah, I think it probably is, and me in general. Not wrong. Yeah, I feel like that thing it could be a train wreck kind of sums it up in a sentence rather than like the 20 minutes we spent talking about it. It could be a train wreck. We don't know. It could be.
Guys, lots of people actually want to see my version of basically 40k Star Trek.
Yeah, it would be really good. I want to see it.
Kai Sears at hosting_team on Twitter, MCRN avatar, which is great, says at Geek News Radio, last episode was great. Thanks, guys. By the way, I count myself in the #permanent HOTAS PC gamer category as well. It shows a picture of his IKEA Poang chair with actually an X55. That's my HOTAS. And is that an Oculus?
I think it is.
It's a VR headset.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Also, in Discord, the bringer of cakes asked if you had rudder pedals and.
Oh yeah, no, I don't.
Which then led Tyrell to coin the phrase "HOTAS fop." Hands on throttle and stick, feet on pedal.
Yeah. It's good. It's not as good as a HOTAS Fab, but Fab. I love Fab. I don't know if you need them for Elite that much, but like for flight simulators.
Yeah, I don't think there are like really degrees of freedom in.
Well, there is. Like the axis when you twist your HOTAS.
I suppose
that would be the one you use for pedals.
Yeah, but I already have the stick that.
Well, it's just finer grained if you use.
I suppose. Also, it is actually kind of like a pain to do. Like don't find it the most comfortable of movements to do.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh God, I'd love so many things. At least I might have a room now.
So you can like build the setup.
Now the problem is like this is all in the living room right now.
Yeah.
It's like we have visitors. Looks like shit. It looks like shit. At least I can hide it like in the special 40k room then. 40k hotels room. So we don't know. Maybe in the future. I'd be up for it.
Live the dream.
Do you want to read the email we got? We got an email.
And we did get an email.
Charles said, no.
From Commander Gallowglass, aka John Dykes.
Send us emails. We also like getting emails.
Yeah, just send us feedback.
Despite what Charles.
Also, because it's a lot easier for me to find the emails. I'm a lot better at searching the emails for feedback than I am.
It's hard for me because 4,000 unread emails in my inbox.
Or you just search for things addressed to GNR.
Yes, I could do that.
It's really quite simple. But anyway, John says, your show notes sound...
Well, have you used Thunderbird? I don't know if it's simple.
Oh, I use... that could be it. Well, there's your problem, isn't it?
What do you use?
I use the Gmail web interface, and it's flawless.
No, of course.
Your show notes sounded disappointed at the lack of feedback. So here's some that I didn't send last podcast. When you put in your plug for Hutton Truckers... That would have been me. Yeah. I was in the Stellar neighborhood and decided to drop in system to meet someone. Finding no one, I set my nav for Hutton Orbital. And then finally named the run out there. Being that I had to sleep in the next... What? I had to sleep in the next half hour. My brain. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Being that I had to sleep in the next half hour or so, I whipped out. That sentence actually makes a lot of sense. I'm just wrecked.
He actually writes next hour, but we'll just skip over that.
Yeah. So basically, Hutton Orbital is really far away.
He says, please publicly announce to your viewers that this station is famous for its orbital distance. In other words, commanders, if you want to get there, bring your lunch, because blundering socialites like myself don't pay attention. Love the show, Commander Gallowglass. John, it's his name, John Dykes. Which is cool. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. I should have said that, yes. So
here's a question that I have about fuel. You've got two fuel gauge, right? You've got the big one and the little one. The big one's for going between star systems.
No. Basically, okay. The little one, your ship continually uses fuel. Yeah. And it drains the one at the top. Mm-hmm. And once that is drained, it refills from the big one at the bottom. Now, if you have a small fuel tank, your big one at the bottom has sections. Yes. And it will refill. It will use one of these sections. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have a big fuel tank, then you won't notice when it refills, because when you jump, when you do not super cruise, like that drains the top one, and it says how much it drains, like in an hour. When you do FTL jump, your friendship drive, then it will drain a lot from the bottom, so that uses a lot more fuel.
I see. Okay, so like how to do the Hutton run, like can you do that in like any ship?
Not any ship. So you need about an hour to get there. Okay. So even like with a small fuel tank where you have sections at the bottom, so you should be fine. Like if you don't see individual sections at the bottom and you start with a full fuel tank, you won't have a problem. Okay, so let's explain the Hutton thing. So the whole Hutton Truckers thing got started from a community event, which only existed because Hutton Orbital, even before the Hutton Truckers it was a thing from the beginning. So basically, you know how the systems in Elite, like if they're like relatively close star systems and we know roughly what they're like they are in reality. Yeah. And in Alpha Centauri has, is it a binary star system? Yes. Basically, it's a binary star system and then another star. So there's like Proxima Centauri, which is like, I think in the binary system.
There's Alpha and Beta Centauri.
Well, it's Alpha and Beta is the primary, and then Proxima Centauri is the other one.
Yeah, the one near it, hence Proxima. Yeah.
Well, it's not that near because
in a galactic sense, it's quite close.
So Hutton Orbital orbits Proxima Centauri, and the nav beacon is at, I think, Alpha Centauri Alpha,
right.
So you jump in there, and then to get to Proxima, it's 0.22 light years, which galactically is really close. But
in a ship, it's quite far.
Yes. So in Elite, at max, I think the max speed you can go in Super Cruise is 2,000 times the speed of light.
Right.
But it gets quite a while to rev up there. So in the end, you point your ship at Hutton Orbital. You jump into the system. You refuel at the star. You point your ship at Hutton Orbital. You put the throttle to max, and it's going to take you about 45-50 minutes to get there.
That's a long time.
And this was famous, or it's still famous, because people who don't know, like Commander Gallowglass, sometimes they will get a mission, like deliver this shit to Hutton Orbital, and then they go there and they find, oh God, it's going to take me an hour to get there. And then most people give up. As the truckers say, Hutton Orbital claimed another one whenever we see a post like this on Reddit, because regularly somebody on Reddit will ask Frontier to remove Hutton Orbital from the game because it screws over newbies. Because the thing is, Alpha Centauri is really close to Earth as well. It's very close to the central systems. So people will end up there, and yes, it's a rite of passage among the Hutton trackers to go to Hutton Orbital. And if you go there, you can get the Hutton mug, which is the thing that the community event was centered around, and you can get Centauri Mega Gin, which are both rare commodities.
Excellent.
Which you can sell for a lot of money. But
I think the next batch of gin that I flavor up is going to be called Centauri Mega.
Oh, it's amazing! I want a picture then. Have you flavored up gin?
I have.
How has it turned out?
It turned out quite well. We flavored it up with cinnamon and some other stuff. It was mostly cinnamon. It ended up, and it gave it kind of a brown tinge.
If you do that and it's good,
yep.
We need to send a bottle to Cecil. So,
Yes.
So the leader of the Hutton Trackers is a guy called Vintin, and he has this character called Cecil, who is this drunk guy. And there's actually a HGS voice pack from Cecil, and it's all like, "I say, ran out of gin again. Is there ready to start?" And yes, if we actually make Centauri Mega Gin, we'll courtesy of Geek News Radio, you'll have to send him a bottle.
Sure.
I'll get his address.
I'll get photoshopping on a label.
Yeah. So actually, you know how your ship weathers like the paint in Elite, and this happens in Super Cruise. Mostly. So if you go to, I think if you go to Hutton Orbital, you wear 50% of your hull or whatever. Ship looks quite beaten up once you get there. Quite cool.
I dig it when it looks beaten up. It looks really nice.
Everyone should go to Hutton Orbital at least once. Just come prepared. Just bring a good book. I read. Or bring Geek News Radio.
I'll see how far away I am from it and go do it.
Basically, you only have to go there once. You can jump out, right? You don't have to go back.
Yeah.
Take screenshots when you're there.
Will do.
I think that's it for the show, isn't it? We are not even at the 2 hours mark. This is what's going on?
It's a concise episode.
It's concise, under 2 hours.
Sounded over an hour and a half, so it's pretty
long.
Well,
if you're disappointed that this episode's too short, I'm pretty sure the next one, the 40K episode, will be massive.
It's going to go on for about 4 hours.
Well, we only have 3 hours 6 minutes on this recorder.
So it's going to last
we could
3
pause.
Hours, 6 minutes.
We could pause and then just put another SD card. I've never done this in my history of podcasting. I've never done this. Might be a first. We'll see. Yeah. Cool.
Sweet. You can contact us through various means. Emails, which someone actually did. We like emails, even though they're not tweets. That is gnr@sixgun.org. You can tweet us both at Geek News Radio.
Where we have fights on politics.
Fights about politics. I find it really difficult tweeting from multiple accounts, so sometimes I'll reply to myself with a different... It doesn't go well. You can see Fab brutally rip me apart. He's at Fabj.
Foxtrot Alpha Bravo Sierra Hotel.
And I'm at Mega Slippers. We've got a Facebook group where I forgot to ask for questions because we had our feedback already. We've got a Steam group where nothing happens, and a Discord where we chat about Netrunner. It's good stuff. Join the Discord. Discord's been more active. It's been good. It's nice. It's a good place to chat with. The Bruner of Cakes is thinking of going to Sabaton Open Air 2017. I'm pretty damn jealous.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
When they go, I want them to post loads of photos because I'm very jealous.
See you next time for a lot of 40k.
Praise Jesus.
The Emperor protects. Primaris Marines are heresy! Heresy, I say!